Alrighty. It's been a while.
Has.
Yeah, been busy.
Yes.
How's the week been so far?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm usually booked out for the 1 or 2 weeks, definitely. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been a bit of change, like lots of movement.
Yeah.
So,
Talk about the change. What's that? Do you think it's reflective of money spending, or is it just people's habits, maybe?
I do think cost of living has hit some people. So I do think some people are a bit more frugal at this point in time. But that's okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's
you
okay.
have
That's
to go
just
with
the
the
nature
flow.
of, yeah, that's the nature of life.
Yep. And how do you go with the flow when you're practicing holistic healing?
It's work in action.
Yeah.
You keep learning every single day.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the principles of what I do with Tai Chi. So
Yep.
the greatest power comes from the greatest amount of release that
Oh.
you can possibly do. So
Right.
we believe in Tai Chi, especially the martial arts aspect of Tai Chi, that the greatest power comes from releasing.
That's really interesting. So
Yeah.
talk more about that.
Okay, so okay.
Where do you start?
Let's eat a bowl of cereal.
Sure.
So we can eat a bowl of cereal and have a lot of tension in our body, and we're wasting a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Or we can learn to just relax and
Sure.
scoop it up and then gently bring it to our face. But
Right.
so that is a very kind of interesting kind of analogy, but
But it's a good analogy. So do you practice a lot of Tai Chi? Do you have time to do that when you're fully booked 2 weeks in advance?
so I recently during the week had one no-show.
Oh,
client.
okay.
So I was
Yes.
able to use that to do some Tai Chi practice,
Oh, that's
which
good.
I'm sure my Tai Chi teacher will be very pleased.
Are you
because
listening?
You better be listening because it only happened that time.
Yeah.
No, Tai Chi is something that is you're developing qualities.
Yeah.
So, for instance, the quality of being able to release. So there is a concept called Fajin, which is explosive power.
Right.
And it's not like building your muscles. Explosive power comes from total release.
Right.
So rather than going punching someone, with
Yeah.
force, it's
Yeah.
about just letting that power come through.
Right. Okay. So when you say between patients, if someone does cancel, do you utilise this space? Do you go outdoors? Do you practice? What sort of do you do to get through the day when there are gaps that are quiet?
Well, basically, yes, I use this room
Yeah.
because I don't really want everyone to see me.
You don't want to go out and do Tai Chi in the
Well,
garden?
there is a balcony, but
Yeah.
from where my room is, but there's been a lot of things falling from on the higher
Yeah,
levels.
well, it's been very windy of late as well, so probably a bit of a hazard out there.
So we did have an interesting situation here when I first moved here, where rocks were falling
Where from?
the upper levels, and I thought someone was throwing rocks, but it actually ended up being cockatoos
Really?
that were throwing rocks off the edge of the ceiling.
It's so naughty.
So
Right.
since then I haven't had the courage to go out
Sure.
there and
I don't blame
do
you.
my Tai Chi. because
So
it just-
actual rocks,
actual rocks.
not
It used
seeds
to-
or anything, just rocks.
Rocks.
That's very
Because
cheeky.
someone was feeding the birds breads and throwing it onto the
Oh, really?
roof.
Yep.
But the roof, it was falling between the rocks, so the cockatoos were picking up the rocks and throwing them off the edge
To get to the bread.
to get to the bread.
Ah, so is there residential upstairs?
There is.
Okay, so it was residential people feeding the birds.
Yes.
Ah, okay, interesting. So you can't really utilise that space. So you just, between patients, you use that time to try and
Yes.
practice
Absolutely.
what you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what other holistic things do you practice in your life? Because it's we all fall victim to it. We all practice within that wellness space, but then we all sometimes fall victim to, oh, I'm too tired, I'm too stressed. How do you deal with those kind of moments? Do you have to remind yourself, no, this is something I've got to do. I've got the time, so let's do it.
Yes. So I do this because of my own interest in life,
Yeah.
rather than something I do just because I'm an acupuncturist and a herbalist and a
Sure.
healer.
Yeah.
But definitely breath work and
Yeah.
meditation
Yep.
are all part and parcel of things that help you to become more self-aware and
Sure.
have more control over your self and your subconscious, which is so powerful if you're trying to be proactive in understanding yourself.
Yeah, right. That's a really great way to sort of wake up and be throughout the day, isn't it?
I find it's easier to live that way
Sure.
Yes, but obviously for some people it's not.
It
so
can be
important.
challenging. Yeah, no, I understand that. So if someone is finding it hard to sort of challenge themselves to have that, I'm going to come from a yoga perspective because that's where I come from, but setting that intention for the day. You know, waking up and knowing, okay, this is what I need to put out in order for that day to track the way it needs to go. How do you sort of, you know, have you had those conversations with patients? Do they ask you for guidance in that area, and how do you sort of guide them of what to do?
So it's not something that you know, I expect to, if a client comes in, it's just you being you. That's all you have to be. If your nature, I mean, for instance, when I studied to be an acupuncturist and a herbalist, there's nowhere that said I had to sit and listen to people for half an hour. Some people don't do that at all, and that's fine.
Yep.
It's just, for me, my clients tend to want to be heard.
Sure.
Because part of healing is feeling like you're being heard.
Yeah, of course.
And you're understood.
Yeah.
At least for some levels of healing.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that. Everyone just wants to be heard, but not always the right people are listening.
Listening takes a lot of work, actually.
Yeah, it does.
If you're not used to doing it,
Sure.
then it becomes more part of yourself.
Yeah, sure.
As time progresses and you get more experience. But definitely listening helps, I think.
Yeah.
Because you understand the underlying conditions of the person. You know, someone might be saying they've got chronic neck and shoulder problems, and you just know that they're very stressed out and unable to release things, or able to release past emotions, or certain members of their family are holding a lot of anger towards them, or so you get to see the different levels, and you understand based on the organ system how to treat someone better.
Sure. So you don't really instigate the whole listening thing. It's really dependent on the patient when they walk in and how they're feeling.
No, and not everybody's the same. For instance, you know, I mean, quite often people will say, I've just got a pain here and I want you to address it.
Sure.
And that's where you've got to meet them.
Okay. And do they often come back?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes you can have a really profound effect on somebody.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
they might not understand it.
Sure.
But they just know
there's something there. Sure. And mental preparedness, because it takes a lot, I know from having conversations with a lot of people within your industry, or even remedial massage as well, the energy that's required. Do you need to mentally prepare yourself for the day in order, because you don't know how a patient's going to come in? Do you need to protect yourself energetically?
Yes, but I don't think that's any different from any other profession.
Sure.
For instance,
Yep.
my first career I was working in the corporate world as an IT specialist in banks and telecommunication industries, and I'd have to prepare myself. But in saying that, that's no different from what I would do if I had to do shopping.
Yeah, sure.
At Miranda Fair or wherever. It's kind of like it's an intention.
Yeah.
And a constant reminder, but not necessarily because I am a healer or because I'm an acupuncturist. It's because I want to be the best version of myself.
Right, and you've come back to that which you said before as well. You want to be that best person, and so when you project that out, you also project that out to someone else that may have the same intention as well.
Well, I mean, just being closer to who you are, you just feel comfortable in your skin.
Yeah, sure.
And some people are naturally empathetic, which I think I am.
Yeah.
So they make good listeners.
Yeah, okay.
But obviously, being a better version of yourself allows you to have that boundary as well.
Yeah, okay. That's really helpful advice. Not that you're just in the wellness space, but then everyday living, you just need to sort of reevaluate what is it that makes you smile, and run with that maybe, you know, work with that and set the intention for the day.
It's just comfortable in your skin.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
So it helps if you're empathetic, if you're a healer.
Sure.
But that's not to say that that's any better than any other skill.
Of course, yeah. But it makes you more in tune to it too, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
As a healer, you're trying to uncover energetic patterns within other people and hoping to change them in a way that helps them to heal.
Yeah.
So you need to understand them.
And have you had any patients along the way where that's kind of happened? I know you said it's not something that's instigated, it can happen quite naturally. But do you have anyone that kind of goes on that journey then with you because they do really get that benefit?
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. And there's people you'll see once and you'll never see them again too.
Really? Okay.
It's just part of life.
Sure.
You know, your energy, you draw the people that are meant to meet.
Yep.
Yeah. And
okay.
I might attract certain people,
Sure.
and certain people might not like that. That's okay.
Sure. And do you ever have anyone come in where, you know, being an energy healer as well, that the energy is so blocked and standoffish?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
You don't just see that in any day life.
Sure.
But, you know, there's one thing to see that, but there's another thing to just accept that.
Right.
There's no need to change it.
Right, okay.
You just have to do your best.
Sure. So you've worked with people, have you seen an evolution throughout their energy if they've continued to come back to you where it's softened?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've had very people that are very analytical or very left brain, needing to understand exactly how everything works.
Sure.
And being skeptical.
Yeah.
And I have had them become chronic, I shouldn't say chronic clients, but
sure.
repeat clients.
Yeah, repeat
Definitely.
clients. And
You know, it's like I said, always it's just about me just being more,
Sure.
more comfortable in my skin.
yeah. Well, what's the term a lot of people are trending at the moment? Your authentic self.
I didn't know that. But
That's what everyone's saying.
Yeah,
Are you your
hashtag
hashtag that
that.
authentic self? Well, because you are doing that, you're authentically putting out exactly what you want to receive back and helping others sort of identify that as well. Yeah.
So I will say that I do practice intention.
Yeah. Okay.
Whether it is writing in a journal.
Sure.
You know, this is what is it that I want to achieve. So
Sure.
I have goals I would like to attain.
Yeah. So talk us through that then, for anyone who's looking for that type of guidance. Because I feel a lot of people, they direct that to January. I'm going to set my goals in January. And so many people say, don't wait for January, do it now. Don't wait, start now.
Well, we're setting them all the time, whether it's, you know, getting in the car and driving somewhere, we've got that intention of being somewhere.
Sure.
So this kind of intention setting is just consciously, you know, whether it's career or relationship or family or what is it that gives us that sense of being in harmony.
Sure.